Hello, everyone, and welcome to G&A Podcast, Episode 7. We are your hosts, Soberoni, and...
Drooby-doo!
Yes, I love the emphasis on the O.
It's Scooby-Doo. How could I not?
Yeah, I guess so. Shooby-dooby-doo!
Yeah.
Real quick before we get into it, I just want to make an announcement. There's a adjustment to the Tales Let's Play. It's going to be up on Fridays only because it's been giving me so many issues for the past week and a half. So hopefully if it's just on Fridays, I can create a stable schedule.
Yeah, like I love technology, but also technology can suck a dick sometimes.
Yeah. And without further ado, let's just get straight into it. First up, as always, we have Akiba's Trip. And this episode, I don't really know how to explain what happened.
Yeah.
Arisa ran into her old master, so at least we learn how she knows martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of devolves into this WWE style wrestling match that they have because her master is being manipulated by a bugged one who has his family hostage and forces him to wrestle her. And that is pretty much the episode. And I honestly think it was the best episode of the series.
Kind of. Like, it was actually really... This is a very good week for anime, and...
Oh, yeah, it's a terrific week for anime.
Yeah, like, this is so great, because like I said, everyone loves Arisa. Well, I love it. Arisa is definitely my favorite character. And we get to find out all his backstory, and I love how like they say that she was like went to college in the US but then was really well traveled. So like in my notes I'm like, okay, you born in the US, well traveled, and then when they announce where she's from from Finland, guys.
Yes, Finland. We finally find out.
And these Finnish bitches be fucking shit up and I love it. So yeah, shout out to Arisa. She's the best. It was a good episode.
I really love how it makes like the absurdity of Akiba's Trip with the absurdity of like
right.
the WWE wrestling.
Yeah. Like they because I was a huge wrestling fan when I was younger. I didn't realize that was only because I'm really gay and I appreciate watching men. Like it's weird. Like it's like wrestling at the time fulfilled like two parts of me. Parts of me that watch loving people just being the ever-loving shit out of each other, and then also just a bunch of oily, sweaty men just being just being there. So
I don't watch wrestling, but yeah.
Yeah, so I love the small nuances that they always have, like someone playing. Oh, I forget what the terms are. Like the good guy and the other guy's playing like the heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even down to like when they were doing like the final count. Like if you, I'm not sure if you noticed, like as they did like the 3 count, like the referee just pauses for that split second.
Yeah, for an extra second after the second one. And I loved how it was kind of believable as an over-the-top wrestling story where it's like, oh, the promoter has your family hostage. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, like because that over the top shit always happens in wrestling. So yeah. I loved it. It was great.
Also, that scene with Tomatsu just like driving the steamroller or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, what?
Oh, and there was like chairs and ladders and all the good stuff. It was so good.
Yeah, and once again, it didn't involve Maya.
All
she did was get kidnapped.
She also got knocked into a washing machine. And
right. So she just gets kidnapped and beat up this episode.
Yes. Great episode overall. I really enjoyed it, especially after last week's. So
yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Don't fucking make me. I'm literally I'm almost about to cry just as it's all talking about what happened this episode. It was just so nonsensical how sad this episode was.
Chaos Child, in case you guys haven't realized.
Yeah, that's the one. Chaos Child, aka Zwei. So basically, the episode starts with a dead body, and and I and before I watched it, Silveroni, we were talking about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, do you know what happened?" I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Well, have fun with that." I'm like, "Was it?" And then I'm like, "Okay, people die in that show all the time." Like,
Yeah, I don't
I
even
mean,
watch it, and I got it spoiled for me.
and then yeah, that kind of does spoil it. Like that's like the biggest death. Um, deaths plural. A lot of people die this episode. First is they find the body of who they believe is Senri. But funny enough, they don't their department belongs to a Riko Haida. And but it looks like the person that they known as Senri that they're still calling Senri. So we're not sure. Also, none of these names are Japanese. Like
I don't know. Senri's kind of Japanese.
I've never. Uh, wait, or am I confusing this with Akiba Strip?
No, you're confusing with Zaki Strip.
Okay,
Kind of. I don't know.
Kind of no, because Kurusu.
That's kind of Japanese. Unless you're coming at me with like a Bob and Kent or something.
Like no, like they're not traditional names that you would name them. Like those are really weird names. Like I can't imagine like there's some weird kanji happening all with that shit. But anywho, so everyone believes that Senri has been killed. And they believe that like Riko Haida was like her alias. So they tell Kurusu, but then they're like, wait, how did she get in? Because there was no evidence of her entering the building. So more mystery. Then skip forward. They're back at the clubhouse or whatever, wherever they have their club activities, the classroom, and then it's funny enough. They're like, oh well, this. I don't know why they assumed like this woman was going around killing everyone for some reason. But like the moment they found a body, they're like, "Oh well, she's dead. Case is closed." And I'm like, "Guys, there could just be another killer. What are you doing?" And unfortunately, that belief is solidified by the fact that the main character, Taku, he says, "Oh, for like the new generation madness killings, they have 2 more dates, as in." The dates to come will be like the 6th year anniversary on like these 2 certain dates. So we're just like, guys, how there's 2 more dates. You really think this is over? Because it doesn't really seem over to me. Then some shit happens. The whole story, like the whole case, gets leaked online to their version of 4chan, and 4chan ain't shit. So
1,000 dislikes.
I know, right? So, because it starts out with saying, "Oh, this woman who was killed," and then this woman's alias was also Riko Haida, and then they're like, "Oh, well, Kurusu also hung out with Senri. Is Kurusu and the Aoba dorm and the Aoba hospital linked with the killer?" And for people who don't know, the Aoba dorm and the hospital facilities, like that's where she lives, that's where her father works. So someone's trying to implicate her in these murders, which is like kind of fucked up. And then of course they realize something which I thought that was pretty fucking obvious. Hey, this person who's dead, it's not Senri. It's just a separate other person. Not Senri at all. And I'm like, duh, like she has her own name, like the apartment's under her name. Like, why would she have like an alias? Like, what? Why would she have an alias? Like, that's like usually like people would like start there and then like start at like assuming it's one identity and then go on to say it's an alias? Like how do you like start there and work backwards? Because now it's not suddenly they're like it's a whole bunch of questions. Like where is Senri then if it's not her? Then it shows that it's revealed that she died on the 23rd, which is a pretty important deal because the last episode when she's like, you know, attacking, well, not quote unquote attacking them, she either just scares them by like making scary faces through a mirror, like, ooh, I'm scary. But that happened on the 24th, and she was already dead at that point. So they're saying someone is like maybe has psychic ability to change manipulation, to do body control or mind control of some sort. I don't know. It's very interesting. Yep. And then while everyone is hiding away because of media, it seems that Kurusu is you know partnered up with the dead girl. They realize that Yui was kidnapped, and they're like, "Oh, who went with her? Oh, Ito took her." And then they're like, "Oh no." Oh, they're like, "Oh right, it's Ito. Ito has her. Like they're fine." And then Ito's like, "Hey, I hope you have some anesthetic and a scalpel because you know trying to cut this girl open isn't working so well." And then he's like, I need to find her." And then, unfortunately, it is too late. Yui is literally in pieces. And then Kurusu, unfortunately, follows them and just sees her like that. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. And then Ito, who is clearly under mind control from someone else, like tries to attack Taku. Funny enough, like what they don't show you is, or maybe you may not see it, but like there's a point where he definitely stabs Taku, but like it doesn't go inside, like it doesn't penetrate his skin. So his psychic power is activated somehow at some point, which saved him. And then eventually Ito dies like everyone else who died, like swelling of the brain, like he starts bleeding from his eyes profusely, and then Ito just dies. And that's it. I mean, I'm happy it's not Arimura, but like this is like no, I definitely like fuck. Like they have to be like the little girl, like Jesus fucking Christ.
So it was a happy episode. Got it.
I am like I'm devastated. Like, I literally cried. Like I haven't cried over an anime in so long. I just cried because I was so like it was so sad, and everyone was like so sad. Like oh my god, cradling her head, and I'm like, oh, it's like on fucking school days, but except it's not the head is not part of the happy ending, part of the sad ending. I'm sad. I'm just really fucking sad. Let's move on.
Okay, so did you have anything you disliked about the episode?
I didn't. I dislike the. I dislike the fact that it took them so long to put two and two together. Like the Senri person is not high. Like they had no proof it was Senri, except for the fact of like hearsay. Like that's it. They didn't have any substantial proof. So I don't know why they made like the whole alias thing up in their minds, but they were clearly wrong. And I don't know, maybe if they put two and two together quicker, then a girl wouldn't have been, you know, cut and shipped off for packaging.
Right, so I'm never watching that show. Next is demi-chan. More lighthearted episode compared to Chaos.
I'm so sad right now.
No one dies. And spoilers, no one dies in demi-chan this week.
Not yet.
It starts off with Hikari failing a test, and they're looking at the board. Which, by the way, Japan, that's kind of fucked up that you have a board that like ranks all the students. Ooh,
Like, yeah, I know. I was literally
that
thinking
goes
about
across
that.
anime.
Like,
That's like I guess a common thing in it. That's kind of fucked up.
that is so fucked up. I mean, don't get us wrong. In high school, Jeffrey and I were pretty decent students, so like we never would have been embarrassed. But still,
Yeah,
like,
don't call people out like that.
exactly, that's still embarrassing. Like, our school was pretty like mean to begin with. Could you imagine if they put out grades, like people's
Oh
grades,
yeah,
like?
no, we get like fucking. I would shit on whoever was last ranked.
Yeah, why? Like, I wouldn't even.
Well, we did.
I wouldn't even bother at that point. I'm just like, you're so stupid. Like, I can't even talk to you. Like,
All right,
we were all
back to the episode. Away from our horrible childhood and back to the episode. Hikari ends up failing one of the tests, and they find out that Machi is like one of the top students. I think she ranks 5th or something. And
no, not.
No, in the beginning, not in the end.
Wait. Oh shit. I got Machi confused with Yuki. God damn it. And wow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, her name is literally Snow. How did I get their names confused?
She ranks 5th. Then Hikari's surprised to find out that Machi's actually smart, and Sensei kind of just yells at them or yells at her for being so stupid. And she has this really cute moment where she asks him for a hug and not to yell at her, and he just walks away from her.
I love that scene. That was funny.
But yeah, so they end up studying under Machi, and that was pretty much there was a few Yuki moments where her and Sato were kind of bonding.
Literally, Yuki got like a gajillion points this episode.
Yeah, Yuki's like tremendously. I don't care what anybody says. This was a Yuki episode.
This was a Yuki episode through and through. Like, oh my god, I literally wrote my notes like she's one of us. Like,
she's awesome. She's literally, if you're watching the show, she's probably a good personification of what you are. She's like into gag manga. She's into pretty perverted, actually. She got a lot of the sexual innuendo in the episode that was dropped around.
Yeah.
And it ended with Hikari doing this little taste test on everyone's arms to see who had the tastiest arms to chew on because she's a vampire.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah, so it was a overall really good episode. And Yuki, surprisingly, is now my second favorite next to Hikari.
Oh god, why are all the characters so good? This is the first time I had to actually go back and forth between choosing them. Like,
yes,
like I can't have a favorite anymore because before it was like, yeah, Hikari's really great, but Himari-chan, I really like her.
Oh, and then Himari's great too.
I know, and then now Yuki is just like, hey, I'm a fucking...
Yeah, apparently her whole cold, serious kind of demeanor is like a fake that she puts on because she loves gag manga, and I don't know, she's just over the top. She has an over the top side too.
Yeah,
and that whole story where Sato was giving her a little backstory about how her succubus powers awakened in middle school. that flashback was so great.
That was so funny.
And then Yuki just can't stop laughing. But that and I guess my other favorite scene obviously was the taste testing Hikari scene where apparently she makes a really
yes
joke, and only Yuki gets it.
Yuki and of course Takahashi. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, he's like, and then she looks at because he has hair on his forearm, and she's like, oh, I probably get the hair stuck in my teeth, and he's like, don't ever say that out loud in public.
Yeah, she looks at his forearm and is like, oh wow, that's really thick and hard, and I'll probably get the hair stuck in my teeth, and then Yuki just starts busting out laughing. And then he had his own little moment where he was like, oh yeah, I bet Sato would taste great. But yeah, no. So other than that, I mean, as a counterbalance, I think Machi kind of fell pretty hard this episode because she didn't really do anything.
She didn't. I mean, she had her somewhat cute moments. Excuse me. She had a cute moments at the library where she like trying to makes like stupid like kind of like jokes that kind of fall flat, but then like the other girls kind of like gush all over her.
Yeah, but even then they stole the spotlight because they were just like so cute when they were just like poking her and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
But
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
good episode overall.
it's a good episode when you're like when you're struggling to find who the cutest girl is or like the best girl is.
Yeah, yeah, it was not like all the scenes of it were really good compared to last week. Much improved.
Yes.
Next up is Fuka.
Fuka. Not a lot happens in this episode. Like a lot happens, but not a lot happens. Like for one, Haruna and Koyuki start secretly dating. Like that's a pretty big something, but other than that, it's not like I don't know. Like a lot happens, but not a lot happens at the same time. Like they're secretly dating. Um, Fuka gets them their first gig after the school festival, and she wants to like I'm just gonna say debut, but they already debuted technically. She wants to write a new song for this gig. So like most of the episode is that, and then meanwhile Fuka is slowly like is she still like in denial of her feelings, which is like I don't like because it's just like, all right, like Fuka, you're making Fuka seem like she's like emotionally retarded at this point, like I don't know what's this feeling when I look at Haruna and I see him with Koyuki. I don't know what this feeling is, but it hurts. It hurts. Like, really? Seriously? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's a bit much. Like, no teenage girl is that dense when it comes to feelings of the heart. Trust me. And then towards the end, a representative from a record label reaches out to Fuka. Like they have like a meeting at a restaurant and everything, and he's like, I want you to sign with our label and record with us. But that ends up not happening because he only wants her and she refuses. She's like, no, it has to be either my whole band or none of us at all. And he's like, call me if you change your mind. And she's like, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen though. Deuces. And I was like, all right, you get respect for that. Because it wasn't even like, oh, I'm hesitant to check. She was like, nope, flat out refusal. So she gets points for that. I like that there's no more awkward hentai scenes. Like, well, not hentai, but ecchi.
I'm about to say like, whoa, I'm about to take this up. Say no more.
There's no more awkward ecchi scenes. But yeah, the only thing I dislike about the episode is like Fuka being like still in denial about her feelings about Haruna, because I feel like that's eventually gonna mess with the band. Which, of course, that's the typical drama that I'm looking for in Nana. So it's like I'm ready for it. I don't want it to happen, but I'm ready for it. Next.
Before we move on, fun fact I just found out over the weekend: Fuka is a sequel to Suzuka. So just throwing that out there.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to
me. Moving on. We have Gabriel Dropout. And it's funny because Gabriel Dropout is always like, so this goes up on Monday, but Gabriel Dropout, like we're recording on Saturday and we watch Gabriel Dropout on Monday. So it's always like the last thing I remember. It feels like I've seen this episode like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's hard to always remember. But yeah, it starts off with a day in the life of Vinay and Gabe. Gabe wakes up early. Or look, Vinay wakes up early and gets pretty much a proper start to the day. Gabe wakes up really late and just starts gaming and stuff. And it goes as you would expect. But it's a really Vinay-centric episode in that it shows her afterwards trying to get tips on how to be a bad girl because apparently she isn't making enough money from hell. They're not sending they decreased her pay for not being bad enough. So she goes to the coffee shop to meet with the owner, and he gives her tips on how to be bad. Except they're like, say, Tanya level bad tips. She goes to school with like her shirt unbuttoned, like on the top, like top button off, and her tie a little bit like rustled and low, and she's wearing different socks, like baggy socks, and she's waiting for Gabe to notice her, and then she just does stuff like, "I'm not gonna take notes all class." What are you gonna do about it, Gabe? And then no one cares.
Yeah.
So she feels really shitty about herself until she just walks in the hallway and runs into Satania, and Satania's like, "Oh, your shirt is a little bit messy. You really got this bad girl look." And then Gabe just high fives her. It was like the most epic high five scene.
It was like the most over top high five ever. And she doesn't. It wasn't even like a natural high five. She literally raises Satania's hand and then high fives it.
Like Satania, raise your hand, and it was like backs up and walks away like like a movie ending high five style thing.
Yeah.
The second half was kind of slower. It was Vinay getting a cold and trying to recover, and all the other girls coming over to help her recover,
quote unquote,
help her. But overall, I enjoyed the episode. It was very Vinay focused, and it makes me love her even more. And she is the best wife. So,
I mean, I can't really disagree with that. I love Vinay.
And also, there was no Satania bullying, so it proves that we can have a good episode without bullying the shit out of Satania.
It's a good episode, but it's definitely not as funny as if they bullied Satania.
We also had a unique ending with Vinay's like sleep lullaby song with Gabe and everything.
Yeah, that was so cute.
Gabe's to go to sleep. Yeah. My only hang up is that the second half where she's sick, I don't know, she kind of felt really really bitchy when she started kicking everyone out of the house. Like Raphael and Satania came over with games and she's like, "Get the fuck out of my house."
Yes. Why would you want to play games?
I mean, if I'm sick and you came over with a game, I'd be like, all right, let's play. I ain't gonna sit in my bed and do nothing.
Okay, it depends. If I'm sick enough that I cannot go out and go to work or school, then I'm not well enough to play a game.
Well, I guess then she has.
And neither was she. Clearly,
Japanese cold where she's just debilitated and
can't move. You know when Japanese people get a cold, it's like they're dying. Like, is this like fever? This is Ebola.
Yeah, she had mini Ebola, so she couldn't do anything. But yeah, no, decent episode. Next.
It's next. May Dragon.
May Dragon.
Right, this is the beach episode.
Yep. Literally called the fan service episode.
Yeah. Like, there's really not a lot that happens. Like, they partake in some fun beach activities, and it's like watermelon splitting, swimming, fishing. But of course, this is all done with dragons, so it's really wonky and funny as shit. More importantly, Toru like struggles with her feelings towards humans, especially based on what her family how her family feels about humans, or how she's grown up feeling about humans. Like, always taught that humans were the enemy and whatnot. By the way, this is like a great like parallel to like discrimination in general.
I was literally gonna say this is a great parallel to lesbian undertones in the series.
You say I meant discrimination in general. I mean, we also
I was like, well, the part where she's like, I don't know if our parents would approve of our relationship with each other and all.
I mean, not because they're lesbians, it's because she's a human and they're gonna kill her.
But it was
but yeah, I get what you mean. Jesus. But yeah, she like really struggles with that. But it was very nice. It was a nice. I don't want to say humanizing her because she's a dragon, but
she hates humans.
Yeah, exactly. The second part, they help at a I don't want to say Comic-Con. I just say because I'm just like Comic-Con like an actual thing. Like I don't know.
It was like some
But a convention, yeah. Like I had a convention. They have that convention, and it was really funny. Oh, I love how they shot to like. I love these kind of like mini scenes. They're always so great. This one,
that bugging scene.
that was great. Like they're like she's about to catch a bug, and then she just eats it. And
did you see in the background of the beach where she just eats a crab?
Oh no!
There's like a scene. I think it's the scene where they're like putting oil on each other and just cons in the background. The crab walks by and she just picks it up and eats it. Like she literally just eats anything that comes next to her.
Oh my god, it's so funny. She's so adorable. And then she wrote down like, "Oh, describe the bug," and she wrote crunchy. But yeah, at the convention was funny. Like she was like, "Oh, why is everyone?" Why? I guess she like raises the questions that everyone who doesn't like anime conventions ask. Essentially, she's like, "Why is everyone?" Why is everyone gathered in this one place? Yet it's not like pure pandemonium.
Yeah.
Like they're so organized. Like, what is the point of this? I don't
I love
understand.
the scene where they're like, "Oh, nice maid cosplay." And she's like, "No, I'm actually a maid."
Real maid. And they're like, "Oh, I get it. Real maid. Wink, wink." Yeah. And then they meet like other people from like the other world, and then which apparently they're all like scared of her, which kind of sucks. Like I thought they'd have like this nice meeting, like, "Oh, hey, we're all like people from the other world," and then she's like, "I'm a dragon." And they're like, deuces.
Nope.
They all just run away. Yeah, just like Gabriel Dropout, this was also like just a very nice episode. It's very nice. If I had to nitpick, I would just say, even though it was a nice episode, it just wasn't as funny.
Yeah, it wasn't as funny as last week. Also, there was a lot of it does deliver on the fan service. It does have a lot of Lukoa fan service.
Oh, she always gets dragged from everywhere.
She just shows up everywhere she goes in like the skimpiest outfit, and it gets dragged off by like security.
Like, you can't wear swimsuits like that. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing more to say. Anything else?
Nope, I enjoyed it. No dislikes.
All right, moving on.
Moving on, we have Konosuba, which just thinking about Konosuba always just makes me laugh because this episode is fucking hilarious. So, Megumin comes back home from being at Union's place and notices Kazuma and Aqua are kind of acting different. Kind of like super affluent and rich and snobby and not like he has a care in the world, and Aqua's coming and giving him tea, but she keeps accidentally purifying the tea. And then she finds out from Darkness that they or rather Veneer is buying a patent from him for one of the creations he made from his world for a shit ton, like millions of dollars.
That's so fun that you use the word shit ton, because that's literally the words I used in my notes. Because I was like, I forgot the amount of number
like
or the currency. I just wrote shit ton.
It was basically, I think it was like $1 million a week or something.
It was like,
or $1 million a month.
It was like 3 million Eris.
Yeah, something like that. And they're deciding whether they want to basically take it as a large lump sum or like monthly increments. So they're kind of just getting this, "Oh, we're super rich" thing about us. And I forget who suggested it. It might be Aqua or Megumin suggest that they go to a hot spring. And
it was Megumin.
Yeah, it was Megumin. They go to a hot spring. So they go off to go to the hot spring. They bring Wiz along with them. And that whole scene is another thing. Right. Picking her up because she's been like attacked by Veneer for buying stupid shit for the shop. And they go on the carts to go travel to the new city with the hot spring, but they're attacked by a bunch of monsters who are attracted to Darkness because of her armor. Because their mating ritual is to run into the hardest thing they find and hit their head against it or whatever. And Darkness's armor is like the hardest thing in the area. So this makes her ecstatic, and she just runs out to go intercept them. And all the other adventurers who are there with them are like, "Oh my god, look at this brave woman! She's she's just a passenger, but she's putting her life on the line to stop this stampede." And
then Cosmo's just like, "Nope."
Cosmo's like, "I'm sorry, you're thinking too highly of her." And Darkness like, "Yes, stampede, trample me." One of the adventurers is like, "I'll stop them with my bind spell."
He shoots that rope.
And then he just starts shooting rope out, and then Darkness just jumps in front of it and gets tangled up.
And she's loving it. She loves being bound.
Oh, and then Cosmos feels shit like, "No, you don't understand. She likes this." Oh, it was such a good episode. I love Darkness so much now.
Darkness, yeah. I told you, since day one, she's going to be my favorite.
Darkness was great. Even that scene where Darkness is just reminiscing, like, "Oh, I haven't been to the capital since I was a child." And like, out of nowhere, Cosmo just grabs her and drains her life so that he can give it to Wiz before she dies.
Yeah.
Starts screaming. It's like, oh, it's so good. It's so funny. This was the funniest episode this week.
Oh, okay. I thought you said this is the funniest episode, Konosuba. I'm like, no.
That's still the Darkness episode.
Darkness coming back is still the best one.
But no, yeah, this episode was the most funny episode this week, and it was hilarious. I'd actually put this probably second funniest next to that other Darkness episode. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, no, that's us like fucking circle jerking over how great Konosuba is.
Yeah, I know. We'll stop.
Yeah. Next is the not so amazing show. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, when you say stuff like that, it's like you're asking for it. Like you're asking for a fight.
No, because next is Kuzen no Honkai, and I actually like this episode. Andrew, give your summary of.
Okay, basically Mugi and Monika go on a date. Hana also has a date with Fuckboy.
Chad. His name is Chad.
Is it really?
No, that's what I'm calling it.
Oh yeah,
He looks like a Chad.
Yeah, Chado. Basically, Mugi Moka goes to a movie. Hana has drinks with Fuckboy. However, the date gets discontinued, literally because Fuckboy's like, "You're not having sex with me."
Because Hana literally gets blown the fuck back and burned to death.
Oh my god. Just because she refuses to have sex with
Burned.
him.
No, not even that. That was just part one of the burn.
Are you talking about like the phone scene?
Yeah, where like he's just begging her for sex, and then she's just like, "No, why is your mind?" First off, it's super ironic that Hana's like, "Why is your mind just about sex?" And then he gets the phone call from the other girl, and Hana's like, "Who was that?" And then you're like, "Oh, some girl who will let me fuck her. Bye."
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, she did slap the shit out of him before, so.
And she still took the brunt of the damage.
Yeah, I know. I feel like she took the bigger L than he did. But yeah. But enough about her. So yeah, so at the end, towards the end of the night, Mocha and Mugi about to go part ways, but Mugi's like, "Hey, what's wrong? You haven't looked at me." And then she's like, "I love you," and then he kisses her. And then one thing leads to another, and then all of a sudden they're in his bed about to have sex. But the last minute, Mugi stops because he's like, "I'm not gonna do what Hana did to Et-chan." But funny enough, I think it almost has the same effect if Hana didn't sleep with Et-chan, because now Mocha is like, she's starting to feel resentment towards her connection with Mugi. She's like, if I went through like all this time growing up and loving you and and it's not gonna pay off in any single way, then like fuck it, I don't want anything to do with this at all, which is damn. Like it, I don't know that she was really pitiable in that moment. I kind of felt really bad for her.
Yeah, I felt super bad for Mocha this episode.
And toward the end of the episode, Mugi and Hana both decide like, all right, we're gonna confess to people that we love, and if it doesn't work out, then maybe we'll date each other.
We're both plan B for each other.
I think that last part was like what she was hoping that would probably happen.
Yeah.
I don't think they agreed on that part. Excuse me.
Yeah. No, I really loved. I liked this episode, and I really loved Mugi because he felt really humanized in this episode, whereas before he was, like I said, a lot of these characters don't have much development. So when it got to this point, and I got to see Mugi's motivations and why Mocha loves him so much, and Mugi being actually like, listen, like for me, what I took from it, that whole scene with him and Mocha together, he was like, all right, this girl loves me. She honestly loves me, but I don't deserve her. And it was his moment to be like, I don't want to be a shitty, scummy person and taint her or like destroy her purity if I know I'm just going to use her. So rather than do that, he sees her as some kind of unattainable, perfect object that he doesn't want to destroy or taint. And that's why he can't be with her. And then for her, she's like, well, I don't want to be this perfect thing to you. I just want to be your lover. And he honestly doesn't want to put her through that because he doesn't feel like he deserves her. So that made me love Mugi a lot more. I respect him a lot more. He's not just some shitty, horny teen who just fucks whatever moves. You know, he actually has a sense of pride and dignity and respect for the people around him.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm like question mark, but I agree to an extent. I think you definitely went overboard on the Mugi suck train, but in the sense that he's not. I don't think he's doing it because he's some he sees her as some unattainable thing. I think it comes down to the sense that like he just doesn't want to use her because it's pointless. Because like she is someone precious to him, and then on top of that, he loves someone else. He's dating someone else. Like that's a messy situation. He knows that's a messy situation. And he doesn't want to drag her into all that shit. Essentially. I feel like we're saying the same thing. I feel like you're just like gassing him up to like the 10th degree.
Well, I'm not saying he's like the perfect person because he's not. He's still a shitty person. But at the very least,
he's not a shitty person. He's just like
he does some shitty things.
Okay, he does some shitty things. Fine.
And in this moment, he wasn't a shit because it's not that necessarily she's unattainable. Like he could date her obviously whenever he wants, but he doesn't think he can live up to her interpretation of him. Like she sees him as this perfect person who's always there and is like her ideal partner, and he knows that he loves her, but he doesn't love her romantically, and he doesn't think that he can ever live up to the expectation that she has for him. And also, he doesn't want to like put her hopes up or like drag her through the mud or ruin her or bring her into this shit.
I just want to add that he's not the only one who knows this. Mocha makes it very clear that she is aware of this, which just makes it somehow even more fucked up. She totally knows that like in reality, like they have almost zero in common.
Yeah, she knows that they won't make the best. She just wants to give it a shot though. Like she actually thinks that, well, this is the person I love, so we'll make it work. Whereas he's kind of like, no, it won't work, and I want to save you the trouble of even going through that pain.
Also, I'm in love with the devil.
Yeah, also, I love the devil. And I just want to point this out. That scene with him having, like, I wouldn't have had sex with Mocha either because that looked like a rape halfway through that scene. Like, she's just trembling and crying the whole time while they're making out and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional.
I mean, I didn't stop him with Hana, but
yeah, it didn't. But who cares about Hana? She's a piece of shit. So
that was great, perfect timing. That was the most perfect timing. If anyone just heard that, like a bunch of glass just fell.
Yeah,
Once he started, like,
that was not intentional at
as
all.
he called her, whatever he called her, we don't know because the glasses fell. It clearly was a mistake.
You can't fill in the blank, and I won't do you the favor. Insert your own word for what I called Hana.
Insert in the comments below. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think, Soberoni called Hana when the glass fell? I don't like Hana. I'll just tell you that much. She's a boring character to me, and she was boring this episode. That's my dislike for the episode.
She was boring. She was boring this episode, but it wasn't focused around her, so it's like, yeah, it really wasn't.
But mark this down as the first episode I actually enjoyed of Kuzu no Honkai, and I have bright, expectations.
I always had expectations. Me and Silver only had a conversation about it earlier because we had to have a conversation about it earlier, or else we would spend like the entire podcast arguing about it. Basically, I just love melodrama more than he does.
Yeah, I think we have different expectations of what we want from drama.
Cause I guess I'm so.
All right, we're not gonna have this.
No, we're not. I'm just gonna simply say that I'm so desensitized to like over dramatic shit, especially
I think that's a good way to put it. I'm not desensitized to this yet.
To like westernized like drama, like this is all we do all day, every day.
This is a really Western style drama in that it focuses a lot on the drama, and I'm not used to that type of drama. Like if you like things like Degrassi or stuff like that, this is perfect for you. If you don't, or if you aren't used to that, this kind of comes as really overbearing.
I still can't stand how you use Degrassi as the staple drama. Like you could say any of the big ones. You could say any of the big ones, like Scandal, Grey's Anatomy.
No, because this is specifically a teen drama, so I feel like it's more applicable to bring in Degrassi. It fits the theme better. But I mean, the general consensus is if you like Western dramas like Grey's Anatomy and Scandal and Degrassi, you will like this. If you're not used to those types of things and you're more used to watching anime dramas like Toradora or Real Life, this type of show is kind of really overbearing with its drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just a personal taste thing. I think for now, at least, it's getting a lot better. It was kind of rubbing me the wrong way when we started, but I guess that's kind of wearing off now. I'm not desensitized. I'm desensitized to a lot of shit. I'm not desensitized to this yet. Yeah. So we're getting there.
We're getting there.
My feelings are gradually growing number as we speak.
That sounds sad. Let's move on before it's too late.
Yeah. Next is Little Witch Academia. Andrew, you actually would have hated this episode.
I'm so glad I didn't watch it.
Because this episode touches on your very problem with Akko. The whole episode is centered on why Akko is so shitty at magic. And finally everyone asked themselves, like, why the fuck is this girl who's so shitty at magic even in this school? So the normal bitchy teacher who's like, bitch, you suck at magic. You're gonna get expelled if you keep fucking up. So Akko basically studies her ass off to be better at magic, and she finds out that doesn't make a difference because she's still shitty at magic. And no matter how much she studies, she can't get any better. And there's some good moments where, like, they go over the different classes, and I think this is the first time they actually went in detail with the different classes that they take. Like, for example, there's one class where there's just a crow, and you're like, guys, you got to take notes. You got to listen to this crow. And then it's just crowing, and everyone's taking notes, and Akko's like, what the fuck is this thing saying? And then there's another class where it's literally just where Akko's complaining like she doesn't get what's going on in the class, and there's no teacher, and everyone just stares at the fishbowl all day. And then Latte and Susie are like, no, the fish is the teacher. You just don't understand what it's saying. And then Akko's like, oh, so this whole semester I have not taken any notes, and I gotta pass this final, and I don't understand what the fish is saying. So she tries to bribe the fish by pouring mineral water, like expensive ass mineral water, into its bowl, and like nearly kills it because it poisons the water. And then so she takes the fish out of the water and she tries to wash it in the sink, and then it falls down the drain. And then she just starts flipping out. So they ask Ursula, to the blue-haired teacher who's been super nice to her this whole time, to cover for her and pretend that she's the teacher for the final. And then her, Susie, and Latte transform into fish and go down the drain to try to rescue the teacher, the fish teacher. Ursula ends up just using like this generic fish bait as the teacher in the bowl and stuff, and trying to pretend to be the fish, and gets caught. But the other three manage to run in. They don't run into the teacher, but they run into another fish, and the fish is like, "Oh help! My whole family's been captured by a fisherman." Akko's the only one who isn't able to transform herself into a fish. Instead, she transforms herself into a merman because she fucks up so hard. And they manage to free the other fish. And the whole time, Latte and Susie are like, "No, Akko, we have to find a teacher. We have to do it before the final starts, yada, yada." And Akko's just like, "No, I can't leave these fishes alone. This guy's family's missing."
Please tell me she just gets harpooned and she dies, and that's the end.
No. Then they find the fisherman who's been fishing in this area, and Akko as a merman tells him to fuck off, and he leaves. And by the time they get the fish and bring him back to class, it turns out the fish teacher was in the net the whole time. They bring him back to class, and they bring him back too late, and all the other teachers are there like, "Did you just try to bribe a teacher and pass the final? That's it, you're expelled." So they bring her to the headmaster, and the fish basically is like, "No, I gotta defend Akko because the class is actually an ethics class, and she did the right thing by saving all the fish." And the guy who was poaching the fish got caught because they're an endangered species of fish, and the school is being commended for their environmental protection efforts because of Akko. So, all in all, and the bitchy teacher still tries to get Akko expelled, but then Ursula's like, steps up for once and is like, "Listen, you got to step off of Akko because she did the right thing, and that's more important than being able to use magic." So the episode kind of just ends with Akko not really learning any magic and just being like, "No, it's okay because she did the right thing, and that's more important than magic." That was the purpose of the episode.
Yeah, that literally was just.
I guess Akko does eventually learn how to talk to the fish, so that's the magic she learns, just to be able to understand the fish. That's it. So I watched it and I'm like, "Oh god," and you would just hate this episode so much because the whole theme of it was Akko getting better at magic, but it turns out she doesn't need to be better at magic because the magic is in you.
I really wish the magical girl was inside of her right now. I really wish magical girl was inside of her right now.
So needless to say, I enjoyed how funny it was and Ursula being fucking actually manning up, but the whole theme kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, yeah, I like how Akko does the right thing and stuff, but there's no reason for her to not learn a little bit of magic. Come on, just teach her a little bit of magic.
How can she be just such a fuck up? Like, I just understand. Like, not even a fuck up as a magicless person. She's just a fuck up as a human being. Like, how do you literally drop your fucking teacher down a fucking drain after trying to drain it? It was hilarious, and I know it's great, but I just don't like her.
Yeah. Akko is the Hana of which I can name it. Anyway, Masamune is next. No, not Masamune. Kiss got a Big Bang.
Yes, that is next. This is actually a touching episode. This show's slowly turning into like my what's the term? My guilty pleasure. It's slowly, because it's still not really good, but it's like it just has those moments where I'm just like, aw, it made the episode worth watching. In this case, the twins Nomura R and Nomura L kind of have like this weird falling out because they had like a dream where R was stuck in the desert and he found a lamp, and then the genie and then he rubbed it, genie came out, the genie was actually his twin brother L. Then the dream ended, then they were like, whoa, we had the same we had the same wish because, you know, we're secretly fucking each other. And then I was like, oh, I wish you and I can be together forever because we're fucking each other. And then R is like, he hesitates, and then I was like, you know what, never mind, I just said some weird shit, never mind. So then they're like off like R feels bad about it. He's like, oh no, like I kind of like made him feel some type of way. Damn it. Then Adam, because and this is my dislike. This is my dislike every episode because he's a fucking idiot. He forgot. He was like, "Hey guys, so I kind of forgot that I signed us up for the lunch radio program. We were supposed to host today, and it's supposed to happen in like a few hours, and we don't have anything like ready for it. My bad." And then I'm just like, "You're an idiot. You're like actually the worst." And then Nomura L, because he is the best one out of the four, is like, I'll just come up with my whole program before then. And then they're like, how can he do that? He won't have any time. And then they secretly like watch him to see if he's going to come up with a program, like see if he's gonna like write it up in the middle of class. And they're like, oh, we didn't see him do anything, so I guess he doesn't have anything ready. And then he's like, oh, yep, I have a whole schedule set. And then they're like, oh, well, cool. And then like there's like some kind of like low-key like twin drama, as I call it. Because Nomura L's like, oh yeah, you don't have to do anything, because I know like coming up with stuff off the top of your head isn't your best thing, so you can just be my assistant. And he's like, you know what? I'll just go with Rui and do the segment with him. How's that? And I'm just like, oh shit. So everyone's like kind of awkward about it. And then the program commences. Adam has this stupid program called like this lunch tray program, where starting with like, I forgot what he started with, like a bean sprout or something. He has to keep switching with people until he gets a spare rib.
Oh, that sounds like that thing where you keep trading. I think there's a Japanese
trading.
Anime, you keep trading in straight up.
Which is stupid, because I would definitely be the one. Like if I had a good enough like lunch, someone would be like, oh, can I trade you for something? I'd be like, no. Go somewhere else. Leave me alone. Ultimately it works out. He's able to complete it. He goes to the lunchroom. He trades the food with like the last guy. He's like, yeah, you can have my spare rib. And then it's like weird shit happens. They trade and then they hug, and everyone in the cafeteria like stands up and applauds. I'm like, wait, what? Why? They just traded food. You act like this is like they like confess each other's love to each other. Like it was like the weirdest, stupidest thing ever. Yeah, so then for like the last section, they have like here's like all this mail stuff where people like, you know, they send stuff in and I read it out loud. And then so basically in doing an alias says like, oh, I love my brother, he's the best, and I want all of us to stay on stage and perform together, and la di da di da, all's love it and all's good. But yeah, that's basically it. I love Nomura L because, as always, he's just always awesome. Like, he was always so smart and had that cool kind of dark side to him to begin with, which is why I liked him. And it just shows even more this episode. So, yeah, it was actually a good episode. I enjoy it. I'm actually looking forward to Kiss Caught a Big Bang now.
It's grown on me.
Yeah, I know. Words I thought I would never say. I'm looking forward to next week. Next,
now we got Masamune-Kun. So, in this episode, Masamune notices that picture he always carries around with Aki and him when they were kids is missing. And then he gets a call from Aki saying that he left a suitcase at the resort from last week. So he kind of panics like, oh shit, does Aki have the picture? Does she know now? And he ends up meeting with her to pick it up. And then he finds out she doesn't have it. And he spends the whole time kind of like concentrating, like, well, then who has it? Where's the picture? What's going on? And Aki gets kind of pissed because he's not paying attention to her, so she leaves. And he ends up calling up Neko and going over to her place. And ends up in her room, sneaking into her room, finds the picture, And Neko comes and finds him, and
God, you made that sound so bad.
Well, she finds him, and she kind of just goes with the flow and is like, "Oh, what are you doing in my room? Oh, I love that man," because I think he was reading a manga while she found him. And I love that manga, and then they just start talking, and then she ends up just kissing him and pushing him down on the bed, and things start escalating. And then he just flat out rejects her and leaves, and then ends up finding out that she's gone missing the next day. So that's the episode in a nutshell.
Oh, don't forget that he takes that moment to capitalize on it like an asshole.
Oh, yeah. He capitalizes on the moment. Thanks for reminding me. By being a huge dick, and then when he's interrogated by her maid or butler or secretary to be like, "Oh, you were the last one with her. Why were you there?" And he's like, "I went there to turn her down so that I can say that Aki's my only girl," and Aki's of course right there. So he just did this whole. Well, he said that specifically to kind of just get points with Aki.
I know, but still, I'm just like, dude, not the time.
Yeah, it's not the time right now. Especially because we find out that also Neko has like, I guess, epileptic seizures because she has so much medication that she has to take. And she left and ran away without her medication. So now she's like in danger, actually. Not just a runaway, but like a runaway who's going to die if she doesn't have her meds. So, yeah. And Neko was great this episode. The kiss scene was great this episode. I hate Aki now. Well, I don't hate her.
I never liked her. I never liked her from day one.
Because I flip-flop between liking her and not liking her. She's never going to be better than Neko, but
amen.
But like,
she's literally my least favorite. She's like least favorite female character on that show.
She was so bitchy. Like she was like, "Oh, you're not going to pay attention to me."
Exactly.
Bye.
I'm like, bye. I'm like,
time.
I know. Like, I'm not the center of your universe this second. Oh, I'm gonna leave. Like, fuck you.
Because he's thinking about something else, and she's talking to him, and she's like, "Oh, you're not going to pay attention to me? I ate all the food. Bye. Pay for the bill." And she just leaves. I'm like,
I know.
How are you trying to get her?
If someone ever tried on me, I'd be like, bitch, better bring your ass down here.
Like, your revenge $20
bill.
Like, your revenge is that she's a bitch and never is gonna find love. That's
exactly. Like, yeah, she's very miserable. She doesn't. You don't need to like
a miserable, shitty person already as it is. And Neko's over here like, "Oh, I'm here for you," and all. I did not understand why he rejected her. Was there like, did I miss something, or was it like, oh, you don't understand?
He just wanted to get revenge that badly. Like he admits it. He says,
"Yeah, that's what I mean." Like, is it that much of a thing? Like, I don't understand. Can he just tell her like my plot is revenge, and after I get revenge, I'll be with like, I don't. Is revenge that important to you over some bitchy shit?
Apparently it is.
Neko is like the goddess among.
Yeah, she's like god tier woman, like material, and he still said no. I'm like, I don't understand you.
So yeah, that kind of got me really frustrated, and Neko's great, and I feel sorry for her now.
Yeah,
makes me heartbroken.
Yeah.
Next is what, Seiren?
Yeah.
Okay, this was almost my show of the week, because my episode of the week, because the arc ended. And I'm gonna spare you guys the suspense. It ended on a good note. It wasn't a shitty ending like the last arc. Essentially, Miyamai and Soichi go to another like comic kit style event, just like with Maid Dragon, and he's there to help her sell cosplay. And she is dressed up as the bunny character she played in the game before. So she has like, this bunny costume, but it's not like a bunny costume like Playboy bunny. It's literally like a furry, like a furry bunny suit. So I'm glad the furry guy wasn't there this episode. Otherwise,
I think that actually turns it. Yeah.
And there was a ton of. First off, the outfit itself was extreme. It was like basically a skin tight bunny suit, and it was extremely inappropriate. The whole theme was she's supposed to be a bunny without pants. So
it's all right.
Yeah, have fun with that.
So strike witch.
Yeah, no, the literal theme, because somebody was like, it was a part of the episode where Tsuneki was like, well, that was your outfit. And she's like, oh, it's a bunny without pants. She's like, that's a horrible outfit. That's stupid. And then the girl who made the outfit for her is like, no, Winnie the Pooh is famous and he doesn't wear pants.
That is not good. Good analogy. That's not good justification at all.
So, of course, she gets embarrassed by her outfit and runs away during the convention, and some photographers find her, the creepy kind of guys, and they just start surrounding her to take pictures. So Ichi ends up saving her, and she reveals like she just wanted to go to the bathroom, but she can't find the zipper on the suit. Oh. And then we have an extreme, like, I'm surprised they put it on TV. There's an extremely fan servicey moment where he has to find the zipper. And of course, because the genius who designed the suit was like, oh, I don't want the zipper to show, so I hid it in your crotch under all this fur that's just there. So he has to find that there, and it was kind of like a Chobitsy moment. You remember the beginning of Chobits?
Yes.
It was literally like that.
Oh,
he has to feel around the crotch for it.
Oh,
so I'm surprised that was on TV, and then he finds it, and she goes to the bathroom. But then it kind of reminded me of Amagami, because Amagami SS, which has the same director, did this kind of shit where there's always some kind of fetish. Like every girl had this one weird niche fetish. And oddly enough, that scene was not the fetish in this episode. The fetish was, it comes after they go to dinner after the event, and Soichi compliments Tsuneki on her like server outfit, and then Miyamai gets upset because she's like, oh, I wore this bunny suit all day and you never complimented me, so she runs off. So he follows her. They end up going to a park, or they meet up in a park with a bunch of couples making out, and she gets kind of like, rustled up, like, oh, look at all these couples making out. And he just tells her, he uses the opportunity, like, listen, you said we can go on a date, and I want to tell you how I feel about you and all of that. So he confesses his feelings to her, and she's kind of like, listen, I have exams coming up, and I don't know if I can say that I want to honestly, like, I can date you while I'm studying for my exams. So then I was like, oh, great, this is going to end just like the last arc where they don't date and nothing happens because she has exams to study for. So then he just looks up at the moon, and it's like, oh, the moon is so big, I never noticed, and starting to cry and stuff. And the most random shit happened. He's looking up at the moon, and all of a sudden, Miyamai just literally kisses his Adam's apple and just starts sucking at Adam's apple.
Right.
Biting and tonguing his Adam's apple. And then he's like, what? And she's like, oh, I've been looking at your Adam's apple this whole time since we met, because you have this habit of, like, whenever you're embarrassed, just looking away from me and looking up, and all I can see is your Adam's apple, and I've always wanted to just suck it and attack it. So she does that, and then her answer is basically, I can't say I want to date you just yet because I have exams, but I will say I want the kind of relationship where I can attack your Adam's apple whenever I want. So on that note, they end up platonically dating, and then there's a time skip. Oh, it does this interesting thing where way back when, like 2 episodes ago, where they had their deers mate in the game, their deers finally had a baby, and she brings the baby, and it's like, oh, look, we have a baby. And then it time skips 10 years later, and you see her as a teacher and all this stuff, and there's like a preschool teacher, and the school bus comes in, and then you see her walk out. It's like, oh, where's this kid? And then Soichi walks out of the bus with their actual baby, like holding her because she fell asleep on the bus, and like just kissing her and stuff. And then it was like, oh, they got married and they had a baby. And ironically enough, Soichi became a bus driver because this whole time he's been playing that bus driving game while Miyamai has been playing the other games this whole. Because I forgot this arc was about her playing video games, but that's what happened. So we had a good sweet ending where they get married, and he becomes a bus driver, and she becomes a teacher, and they have a kid together. So it was really sweet. I almost got diabetes from it, and it felt like Amagami again because of all the fetishes.
At this point I'm just like, yo, someone, if you are into elbows, just hit me up and I will slobber all over that shit.
Amagami did the same shit. There was like, I think there was a girl who was all about feet. There was a girl who was all about belly button. It was like, it was weird. It was weird shit. That's this director's thing. So
guys, I just want to, I like kissing, but I'm just into your teeth. I just want to lick your teeth.
Yeah, he just wants to lick your teeth.
Just come with weird fetishes all
That's
night.
the next girl. All right. Next up, the super lovers.
All right. Ironically enough, the episode starts with Haru messing with Ren about his teeth because he never went to a dentist. I did not plan that. That was literally a coincidence.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so he messes with him, tries to get him to go see a dentist. I'm not sure if they say it happens or not. Also the school doctor, the one who Ren always asks like the very like mature questions to, especially about gay sex. Unfortunately, he moves into like the room that Ren spent the whole summer cleaning. So he's just like, oh shit, it's you. And then their little conversation's funny. He's like, "Oh, I have questions." He's like, "Oh, I have questions, more questions about like sex." And he's like, "Listen, I don't know how gay sex works." And he's like, "Don't worry, we can talk about that later." And he's like, "Later." He's like, "Later."
I need to know now.
Why are you asking? Like, what do you need to know? What are you trying to ask now? You want to know about that later? Oh my god, that was really funny. Ren also runs into the therapist the therapist from I think last episode. And the therapist is like, yeah, so our last session didn't go so well. I noticed that you didn't plan another session to meet up with me. And then Ren is like, yeah, because he has problems that he doesn't even recognize them himself. So yeah, they had that little run-in. Then they brought up a lot about this woman who's like literally trying to like get with him, like to the point like last episode her aunt like tried to set up a formal like marriage meeting, but now the woman herself actually went inside the cafe and literally spent like the last few days just talking to Haru. And Ren is like, I kind of don't like him talking to other women, and it kind of sucks because, he talks to them. More importantly, they talk to him because they don't recognize him being with someone right now. And I don't know, that makes him very self-conscious. I kind of feel bad for him, but it's whatever. Because at the end of the day, Haru's like, you're still a kid. So then Ren questions Natsu about it, like about sex and stuff. Like he literally runs like, "Hey, Natsu, when was the first time you had sex?" He's like, "Oh, no, I think I was around your age. Actually, I was a little bit younger." And then he's like, "Wait, why are you asking this?" And they kind of keep doing it back and forth to the point where Haru comes in and he finds Ren straddling Natsu. So we're all just like, I'm like, wow, so you're working your way around the family tree, I see. But yeah, so I think more or less the episode ends with Ren and Haru getting to a fight because he's like, literally like, stop treating me like I'm a fucking kid. And he's like, you are a kid. But I'm like, but I can be more mature than that. You just refuse to see it. And then he like runs away to Natsu's place. I think it more or less ends there. Things I liked about the episode. Oh yeah, he asked the doctor the question. I actually wrote it down. He's like very more or less like, what's how do you put the question? Like, what kind of sex life does an adult man have? And then the doctor was just like, why are you asking me this? Why? What the fuck did I do to deserve this? There's also a really nice like ecchi peach scene that I I mean, it wasn't ecchi. It was like borderline. I didn't like how like there's like this double standard, or like Haru can get jealous whenever Ren talks to anyone. Like, even though he's like, oh, but I'm being overprotective of him because he's like my little brother, but also my boyfriend. Like, it's definitely a weird kind of incesty, kind of not kind of thing. But but then again, Haru literally just talks to women all day who clearly want to fuck him. Like, it just always happens. And also, not so flirting with Ren. You're just like, it's just like causing more shit to happen. Yeah, so that's basically all that happened. Not a lot happened. I think something big's gonna happen next week, but we'll see. Next
is Urara. So this episode revolved around. Well, it was two parts basically. The first part was they all go to the beach to practice. You know what? I don't even know what they were practicing. They just went to the beach to practice something, and then Kon uses like this forbidden spell in an attempt to see the gods, and she does see something. She sees like things flying around in the water, and she gets so unnerved by it that she thinks that, because one of the major rules for them is that if they ever try to see the gods or figure out what the gods do or something, they lose their ability to become the diviners or fortune tellers. So she's scared to death that she lost her ability to do that. So she ends up trying to, like, in the second half, tries to cheer her up by saying no matter what, she's going to be there for her. And they end up doing the Japanese equivalent of Ouija board, which is like Kokuri or something. It's pretty much Ouija board. It's the same exact thing as Ouija board. And they ask the gods if Kon lost her powers or not, and they reveal that she didn't. She still has them. So then they discern, like, oh, you must have not seen the gods. There's a lot of people who died at that lake, so you must have just seen their ghost. So
cool.
She just starts getting freaked out by the fact that she saw a bunch of ghosts. The first part of the episode was pretty funny. There was one scene in particular where Kome gets behind Kon and like just starts grabbing her boobs, like, "Oh, look, your boobs have gotten so much bigger." And then Kon gets behind Kome and grabs her, like, "Oh, you're growing too." And then she's like, "No, that's my stomach." And then they're like, "Oh, maybe you should stop eating so much."
Oh, that's fucked up. I was slapped her.
So that part was funny. The whole second half, though, I mean, it's a slice of life comedy, I know, and it's trying to do this like serious storytelling bits where it has lore and it has which I like. I respect that it has characters that need to be developed, and it tries to do that and tries to build the lore for the series. I just don't want to dedicate half an episode to it because those parts are really, really boring. Like first half, fine. Second half, really boring. Also, there's a lot of, speaking of weird fetishes, this show has something with stomachs, because even from the first episode all the way up until now, I don't think there's been an episode that passed without them showing their stomachs to people. So we've had a lot of stomach action this episode. It was a fan servicey episode. Other than that, not much to say about it. I mean, it's hard to find things to say about this series in general. But yeah. So I guess without further ado is our Yojo Senki.
Huh. This is quite the episode.
Yeah, it's my episode of the week.
So let's start out with a pissing match between Tanya and the other general over strategies.
Yeah. Oh God, Satanya.
Did I say Satanya? I meant to say Tanya.
Tanya.
I definitely say Tanya. Excuse me.
Tanya wishes she was as fucking.
I know, right? I think Tanya would literally just actually kill her or find a way to. But yeah, so find a way. Basically, I think they're pushing towards like the northern front, and then Tanya's like, "Why are you pushing so hard? You're just going to use up all these supplies and resources, and they're not gonna die." And then the general's like, "You don't know what you're talking about," and she's like, I know what I'm talking about. You're just being obstinate for some reason." And then he gets angry, and she's like, "All right, well," oh yeah, and then she makes like a backhanded comment. about how like, oh yeah, like I forgot how much you're struggling since I've been here. As she like pours like a shit ton
Oh
of
yeah,
cream in her.
she's like, what was it? Oh, you don't care about your men if you're gonna put them to die. And then he's like, no, we care about our men a lot. And then she's like, oh well, forgive me, I forgot. While drinking all this coffee and having all this food, how I was starving to death when I was a soldier.
Yeah, exactly. So that was some shit. And then through like making a strategy, she learns of their true intentions, which is to do kind of like a pincer attack almost. Basically, a Bay of Pigs, if you will, minus the failure.
Could just say D-Day.
Oh no, yeah, I guess. I know. Maybe when they mention like what happened, like oh, if this happens, this will just be like a training exercise, and we'll be humiliated. And I'm like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, her squad, battalion, whatever, is sent to fly to Fjord and take out a bunch of artillery to allow this giant like navy to arrive safely in their back door, essentially, and then do a sort of pincer attack and take over their railroad systems. So, and essentially that happens. Like the attack goes off more or less as planned. Nice and surprised. They parasail from way up and get the drop on them, and then they try to counter, but it's kind of too late at that point. Like the ships are here, most of the cannons are destroyed, and then Tanya being Tanya. Oh, I totally forgot like some really important shit. I was about to be like, I totally forgot that. I know. Right? Yeah. So at the beginning of the episode, it's in my notes, and I didn't understand where it came from. I'm like, right. So there's some guy from, I forget what they're from, because there's so many different forces.
I think it was either the Republic or the Entente, Triple Entente.
One of those. Triple Entente. Basically, who he leads his own battalion, and he's sending his daughter off like away because he's like, yeah, people might be here sooner than you think, so you need to go. And then shout out to Mary because she's like, oh, here's your Christmas gift. I got you a machine gun. I'm thinking like it's gonna be like I know, right? I think it's like gonna be like a quilt or like a pin.
I thought it was gonna be like a watch or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, or like a necktie, and hope a machine gun with his initials, which is kind of just really sad because he goes up 1-on-1 against Tanya, and Tanya just really, literally guts him. And
she just stabs him with the rifle, like through him.
And she's like, well, I'm going to take this. And just kicks him into the water, and he dies. And then, ironically enough, she says, this will make a wonderful Christmas gift. And it was his Christmas gift, which was pretty sad. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode.
Did you see after the credits?
Shit, I think you told me to do it, and I didn't.
Yeah. After the credits, it goes to them, Mary, and obviously the guy's wife listening to the radio, and they're like listening, and the radio's just reporting that there was an invasion and everyone is dead, and they know that she knows her father was there, so she just breaks down crying, and you see it like zooms around the room, and you just see pictures of her father and her together and stuff. And then like Tanya just with the gun that she got her father. And I'm like, wow. That's the most fucked up thing she's done all series.
I mean, she doesn't know the meaning behind it. She doesn't
know the meaning behind it, but like out of that context, it was extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping Mary joins the army and just tries to hunt down Tanya. That would be great.
Yeah, until Tanya kills her. Until Tanya kills her. Got her the same way she did her father.
I think out of all the episodes, I've never really felt Tanya as more evil as this episode. Like even the first episode where she sent those 2 guys to die. Like I felt like more than anything, her evil side showed in this episode. Because she also didn't have to kill that guy. Like she could have just stopped him and like kept him as a prisoner or something. But she was literally like,
"Did that ever happen? No,
I know she never does. She personally never does that. But I'm saying she could have done that, but she was like, no.
No, they've done that before. Like, remember when they first deployed as like their whole battalion?
Oh, yeah, she said get prisoners. Yeah.
She's done it before. It's just like he's a mage who's like firing at her and trying to kill her. That's the thing.
Like she knows that was probably the battalion leader and all that, so she probably could have gotten good information from him if she did capture him.
But it's hard to capture.
I just felt like even if she didn't get the
okay, how do you capture a flying mage like who can fly?
Listen, she literally killed him super easily and effortlessly. I'm pretty sure
killing someone is way harder than capturing.
She wasted no effort to kill him.
It is a lot easier to kill someone than to capture someone. Always.
Again, she could have just instead of stabbing him through like the chest, she could have stabbed him in the leg and like basically disabilitated him. But in any case, I didn't say she had to capture him without any injury. In any case, even though she was removed from the context of it, I don't know, just the weight of her stealing the gun that was the guy's Christmas gift from his daughter and her mercilessly killing him and the daughter crying and stuff, that just hit me hard. So it made Tanya all the more evil to me.
Meh.
Well, you don't realize it because you're evil, so of course you're on her side.
I guess so. I won't confirm or deny that.
But yeah, no, that was my favorite episode probably so far, and I really liked it. So, episode of the week.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's it for the week. It was a strong week.
Yes.
Lots of good episodes. Oh shit, my headphones caught in something. All right, here we go. There we go. Yeah, it was a great episode. Looking for the next week. If you enjoyed it as much as we did, and if you enjoyed this podcast as well, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It really would help us out a lot. Also check us out on Twitter. And like once again, if for some reason you just really hate YouTube videos, we're also on SoundCloud.
Yeah, stick it to YouTube.
Yeah.
Except don't.
Except don't. Like you're already watching this, so just like it anyways. Don't be a dick. Just like it anyways. Just like this episode, and then you can stick it to YouTube and never look at it again. All right. Well, with that, we are going to head on out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Later, guys.